Hello friends, well it's cold and we're talking all things frozen. We spend a lot of time talking about Modular Mates and VentSmarts to keep our dry food and fresh food fresher for longer, but perhaps not so much time talking about freezer keepers. Our freezer keeper range is the quiet hero of the freezer world that can have a significant impact on reducing food waste, saving time in the kitchen, as well as saving valuable dollars. So let's talk about what makes these containers worth their weight in frozen gold. First up, of course, they're modular. So same as for our Modular Mates in the pantry, this means they not only stack in the freezer in a modular fashion, think Lego for the freezer, it also means that when they're not in use, they'll nest nicely to save space in your cupboard. The seal not only locks in freshness and flavours and odours, they've been specifically designed to protect your foods from the dry air in the freezer that can dehydrate them. This is basically what freezer burn is. It's damage to the food caused by inadequate packaging or the storage conditions, and it makes your food taste pretty horrible. The seals and base are made from a flexible plastic, which makes them easier to use when you're dealing with frozen foods. So the special plastic, while flexible, will not crack when it's frozen, and it's strong enough to prevent crushing and protecting fragile foods. With the flexible material and the rounded corners and the glossy inside walls, it makes it really fast and simple to unmold the food without risk of leaving anything behind in the container. The inside walls are also coated with our special colour control, which substantially reduces staining from prolonged use. And it's also really important to point out the maximum fill line all around the base. This line indicates the maximum amount of unfrozen food you should place in the freezer keeper. This is important because it ensures you leave enough space to allow for food expansion during the freezing process. Each container features an all-around foot at the bottom which provides stability as well as allowing air circulation for optimal freezing conditions between the containers. This curved foot means that an even temperature around the freezer keeper for ideal food conservation. Freezer keepers are great for storing fresh fruit and vegetables, frozen goods, meats, as well as soups, stocks, sauces, etc. So let's run through a few scenarios and which containers are best suited for your needs and how you can save money and time using these very humble containers. So here you can see we've got a selection of different foods that would reasonably be purchased in a weekly shop. We have everything from fresh food to frozen fruit and vegetables, and we also have some meat products as well. And of course, rounding it out with some pastries and ice creams. Yum! Now, as you would know, when you leave these things in their original packaging, the plastic bags or the containers, it makes them really tricky to stack. They all come in different shapes and sizes, and while I'm as good at Tetris as the next person, modular storage is always much simpler. So what else happens when I open up one of these packets but don't use it all at once? Do I peg my peas? Do I put my half-used sausage rolls in plastic bags? Should I portion up my meat in freezer bags and just stack them on top of each other? Is there a cheaper, even more delicious alternative to my ice cream obsession? I think there is. The freezer keepers can answer all of these questions. First up, let's talk about our mini containers. These are hands down my favourite and probably my most used of all of the sizes. So here we have some a little bit past fresh berries and bananas. And instead of tossing them in the compost, I can quickly cut up the banana and the berries and throw them in, and I know that I've got all the frozen fruit that I need for my morning smoothie. What about vegetables? Now I could go out and buy one of these single serve frozen packs for about $5, or I could pop in my own fresh veggies for a fraction of the price, like broccoli, carrots and beans. And I've got my own single serve ready to throw into my micro-oven and steam up for dinner. And of course you can do that for larger sizes as well, for bigger families. The minis are also great for baby food, and they're a great serving size for littlies, and better still, you know exactly what's gone in there because you made it. Stepping up to our small high containers, these are probably one of the most versatile of the sizes. So in here I could have a small soup serving or some pasta sauce. And this is really great if you've double batched. That's another meal that's ready to go with just some quickly prepared pasta, and dinner is done, especially on those cold winter nights. It's really important when you're using these to let your foods cool down before you transfer them into the freezer keeper. And be sure, once again, don't fill past the max fill line. The small highs are also great for storing your frozen fruits and vegetables. It also solves the problem of used packets, so no more pegs or rubber bands in the freezer, thanks very much. So when you get your fruit and vegetables home, simply just pour it straight into one of the containers. Be sure to recycle your plastic packaging as well, and you can do this by just collecting any plastic packaging and taking it to your local Coles and Woolies. And another little handy tip is to keep one of our Modular Mate scoops on hand so that you can quite simply and easily scoop out exactly how much you need and then pop the seal back on and pop it straight back into the freezer. Now, what about meat? Buying in bulk is great and it will save you money. And portioning out your meat is as simple as using one of our Slimline digital scales and a freezer keeper. Please don't use freezer bags, because when you do and you stack them on top of each other, what happens is your food will not freeze properly. That's because they'll mold into each other and the cold air will not circulate properly, meaning that they won't freeze completely, which can also result in nasty germs getting into your food. Gross. Our medium-high containers are not just for our serious bulk food buyers and double batching ambassadors. While the larger capacity can certainly handle the double batch soup for the family or the perfect grab-and-go barbecue pack with sausages, rissoles and steaks, they're also perfect for storing your favourite chippies. My other favourite use for this size is creating and storing your very own favourite and unique ice cream creation. Now, I love a Ben & Jerry's Chubby Hubby or Cluster Fluff as much as the next person, but who can afford upwards of $8 to $12 for just 500 mils of ice cream? Instead, why not DIY using our Extra Chef, a tub of plain ice cream and your favourite additions? Get Cold Rock at home without going out and getting cold. Just this packet of biscuits and this tub of ice cream cost about $8. That means I get 4 times more ice cream, and it's delicious. So that's a great dating bid with one of our favourite Reg Range highly demonstrable products. And finally, the large low size. These are great for your pastries like sausage rolls and party pies. Whether you have bought them or made them yourself, you know that you've got the perfect container to store them in. And for the more delicate pastries or even jam-filled tarts, these are ideal because you know they won't get crushed if there's anything stacked on top of them. And this size is also perfect for storing and freezing less bulky foods like fish or chicken schnitzels. So friends, there you have it. A variety of ways you can maximise the use of the Freezer Keeper range. As you all know, this is not the whole range. It's merely an overview of a selection of sizes and different ways you can put them to use.